we want to talk about.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
And welcome to another episode of False Starts with Chris Shipley and Bill Blank. Billy, can you hear me okay in this?
I can hear you.
All right,
hear me?
I can hear you. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. I had a slight panic and some anxiety, which turns out to be very it's very right timely for what our conversation is going to be tonight. But
right on point.
Let's start off. We brought the AKC Marketing Studios on location to Polk City Pub here in Polk City. Teddy Hawley and his crew were kind enough to let us come over here and set up tonight. We've got a bunch of friends here that are having some great food. I think we got some grinders and some cheese balls on their way. I had a drink around here somewhere that I may have already drank a lot because I was panicked. But Billy, how are you tonight?
I'm swell. You're gonna be all right.
I am gonna be all right.
Is there a small orange creature frozen inside your head right now?
There is.
It's cool to be here. And you know what? While it's on my brain, we are we're gonna have a new sponsor.
Yep.
Which is my friends at MoRub. Like you can't probably see my T-shirt. We're going through a rebrand actually to Mo Goodness. We have all kinds of products, but it all started with this 9-spice rub that my friends Steph and Mo came up with. I want to say somewhere around 15 years ago in that neighborhood. And been on the grind for years, always at the festivals. I've been working with them at Hinterland for the last 2 years. I'm going to be working with them again this year at Hinterland, which is a blast. But we've got, our core products are basically the rub and then the Mo cracked pretzels, Mo peanuts, and Mo Bloody Mary mix, which I brought. This is premium. This is the stuff right here, the Bloody Mary mix. This is what I'm going to be concentrating on because just so happens I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be in charge of bars and restaurants. We're going to
That's awesome.
Try to grow this brand together, and hopefully we can all retire on it.
That'd be great. I think I tried some of their pretzels and stuff at the farmer's market a couple years ago.
The farmer's market.
Yep.
You can always
Good
see
stuff.
Steph and Mo there.
Yeah.
She's always just been the shining light of everything the whole time. And, just a ton of energy and a ton of passion for what she's doing.
Well, we're excited to have them on.
We're
excited to promote them. And we are really excited to be here at Polk City Pub. I've been here once before. I made a little stone sign for them or whatever and dropped it off. But this is the first time that we're going to try some food here in a little bit. So
yeah, when's that coming?
You know what? We'll get Tiny over here.
Tiny dropping the ball.
Tiny's dropping the ball. No, he was over here a couple times and asking. We should probably get him on at some point too. And,
yes, we should.
And get some information. So
I got history. Me and Tiny got history.
I know it's that and a bidet. Imagine that yet another store.
He was one of my first bidet gifts. That's my gift. That's my go-to gift for people. I buy everybody a bidet. It's the most practical. It's like you can buy one for like $40.
Yeah.
It's a great wedding gift.
Yeah.
Like if let's say, if the gender roles are what they are in most cases, the wife does all the laundry or whatever. Does the wife do most of your laundry, Chris?
Yes.
I guarantee she would thank me for a bidet.
Yeah.
She's doing your laundry.
She probably will.
Because
maybe that, you know what? My anniversary's coming up. I'll buy her a bidet for her.
You want to eliminate the skid marks. That's what a bidet does for you.
We have two 21-year-old boys at our house, too. I mean, that seems like.
I bet they've clogged the toilet a time or two.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Just using a whole roll of toilet paper.
100%
right?
they have. Guaranteed.
See, when you have a bidet, you don't wipe, you dab.
There you go.
You just dry off.
Save on toilet paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it. Well, that's when I got it, was the pandemic. Because I got a brain in my fucking head.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying not to cuss too loud. I can't tell if anybody can hear
We're in
me
Polk
or not.
City. I think they.
Well, I know, but there's kids. I mean, we're not obviously.
You'll be proud of me.
It's weird in the headphones. It sounds like we're.
I know, right? It sounds like we're broadcasting
out,
really loud, but hopefully it just means that people can hear us better.
Well, when Ross and when I was doing the Blank and Bush show, me and Johnny Bush and Ross.
Oh God, I love John Bush.
We were doing the Blank and Bush show live at High Life.
Yeah.
And we had it set up so that it played out of speakers
yeah.
to the bar. So
Sure.
we usually ran out whatever business was in there, and it was just us by the end of the night. Didn't take long to get them out of there.
That sounds good.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be in there.
You'll be proud of me though. I was in Phoenix this weekend. I was at a convention and had a mushroom conversation with some dude.
And how did this happen?
I you know what? I honestly don't even know. We were talking. I think we were at a brewery. It was a guy that I had met in an earlier session. It was like dads with kids with Williams syndromes, and we kind of connected. So Stacey and I went out for a drink, and he just happened to walk into the same brewery, and I sit down, and we were talking, and he's a bartender by trade or whatever else, but he got to talking about mushrooms and stuff, and I was like, I just can't fucking exceed.
You know, you're gonna have to dose, dude.
You're gonna have to
microdose
some shrooms.
When's the next concert you're gonna go to? Do you have any tickets to any concerts coming up?
Going to Lauren Daigle, who's a Christian concert.
Well, maybe you'll get closer to God. Maybe a Christian rock band. Is it Christian rock?
It's Christian contemporary. So.
Okay. So it's
pretty mellow. So maybe
what is it? What's that? Our God is an awesome God.
No, yeah, it might be. Yeah, guy, might be. Yeah, not that guy, but that kind of music. Yeah,
that kind of music.
Yeah.
What's that other one? Praise Him. Praise Him.
I'm going to Hairball later that week.
Dude, they're perfect. Microdose of Hairball.
Okay.
Take 2 little pills, Well, I mean, you'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing. Where are you going to see Hairball?
Probably at the fair. Because it's
so,
free and I'm too cheap to pay rent.
So you're going to pay how much money to get into the fair, right?
Yeah.
And so is Hairball playing for free? You gotta buy a ticket?
No, it's a free show.
Stage.
Yep.
Okay. Or do they have light shows and stuff? I mean, is it
I'm
cool
sure they
like
do.
that,
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. Okay, so what you do, because how much is a beer? What, 12?
Oh, probably 12, 13 bucks.
$16,
sure.
right?
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
If you microdose, you won't need to buy a single beer. You will save $100.
Probably not as big a calories
There's
either.
no reason to buy. There's no reason to drink alcohol.
Okay. Where do I get
mushrooms? And you will feel exactly.
Where do I get mushrooms at?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where to find them.
I might know a guy.
But I'll tell you, we're putting the feelers out there. Somebody will reach out.
I'm sure they will.
I personally have no idea how to get my hands on it.
Right? No, of course not. Absolutely not.
I don't deal with, unsavory people enough to be in that world.
100%. Well, we got asked here because this all started because
Teddy, who's not here.
Teddy, who's not here, ended up. He took his kids to the movie, and
what movie was that, Chris?
Well, it was Inside Out 2.
Okay.
And the first thing that he tweeted out was how expensive it was to take the kids to the movie, and how outrageous.
Oh, so this started with tweets. I thought.
Yes.
He
started with
reached out
tweets.
to you.
So it had started with tweets, and I had commented that it was absolutely ridiculous. But then he did message me. He's like, I think you and Bill need to go see this movie and talk about it on False Starts. It's that good.
Yeah, it was that good.
So you went and saw it last week.
I saw it Saturday.
Okay, I went and saw it last night.
Yeah. Did you take the family?
I did. We Caitlin, the whole family went. Caitlin Walker, the boys, and Stacy. We all went together. I had to rewatch the first one on the airplane because it had been a while since I'd seen the first one. So,
I didn't rewatch the first one. I didn't find that necessary. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I thought
it's a standalone, but
no,
I mean,
like I thought about it.
Yeah.
Like I ended up just deciding that it wasn't necessary. Like I knew the movie. I knew, you know what I mean? Like
right.
I knew what it was. I knew, like it's not like I need to be able to quote it.
Right.
Like I remember it. I watched it. It was good.
I knew what it was about. I just wanted to refresh my memory with the characters or whatever. So I guess let's start this way. First impressions of the movie. You kind of put a Facebook post out there.
Yeah, I've already.
So,
I mean, it's not like it's a secret.
No.
Well, I mean, I thought it was brilliant. Like you sent me, Chris sent me a text last night and said, or was it last night or
it was right after the movie.
Yeah. So last night, Chris is like, "You cried at this movie, you fucking pussy." So you didn't?
I didn't cry, and which is surprising because I cry a lot at different things. I got a little emotional, but I think maybe because you said you cried, I was waiting for this big, huge moment. And obviously, it was at the time when she had her panic attack.
Yes.
Yes. Right. And I felt like some anxiety. I felt.
Okay, so you know exactly when.
Yes, absolutely. It was when she had the panic attack and she couldn't control it.
Because I saw it come. You see it coming.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's this moment, and I mean, you know, we should probably warn people about spoilers or whatever, maybe. But I mean, how can you spoil?
You can't spoil it.
Yeah, you can't really.
No.
But there's this moment where you see that this is coming, and if you can relate to it at all, it hits so close to, like, it was so weird for me. It's so weird for me to think about the fact that I'm watching this cartoon character more or less.
Yes.
And I felt so much empathy in that moment for this fake person.
Right. Yep.
And that's what blows my mind. And there's just, like I said, I mean, I'm thinking about it now and my eyes well up a little bit. Like, it's so spot on.
Yep.
It's so right on. It's like whoever wrote this has been through this before and like knows what this feels like. And I know you haven't gone through the type of anxiety that I have in my life.
Not to the extreme that you have.
Right.
No. Yep.
And so if you've had a panic attack, like it was so the moment that got me more than anything though, it wasn't her. Like, I felt so bad for her, and I saw it coming, and I knew it was coming, and that's right when I got emotional, as I said in my head, oh no, she's gonna have a panic attack. Like, I knew it. Yeah. And I felt so horrible. Like, I wanted to help her, even though she wasn't real. It was crazy. But the moment that got me was the moment when the anxiety character that was at the board, and just frozen, and
she was panicked now.
Yes, and because literally can't do anything. And that was the last real anxiety attack that I ever had. That's what that had never happened to me before. Where I'd never been in public. Yeah. Like any anxiety issues I ever had, I was never in public. Or I was in a place where I could just kind of get away, maybe go home or whatever. Right. But most everything always happened at home. Okay. And so I was never in public. Well, the last one that I had, major one, I was in public. And I was at a bar with a bunch of people. And I had drank a couple of drinks that night. Yeah. So there wasn't drunk. I wasn't anything like that.
Right.
and I was just frozen. That had never happened to me before, where I could not move. And I remember people asked me if I was okay. It took me a long time to like actually muster up to be able to tell them I was having an anxiety attack.
Yep.
It's like the bartender was telling them to get me out of there. Like he thought I was going to throw up. You know,
Right.
It wasn't like that. So I really that like hit me like a ton of bricks when and then the single tear comes down while they're frozen, and that's exactly what happened to me, because previously whenever I had anxiety attacks or anything, I never got emotional.
Right.
I was like panicked. It's like just feared times a million.
Yeah.
Right. And when that happened, as I was slowly coming out of it,
Right.
I was bawling, and that had never happened to me.
So see, that's interesting because I've never had the panic attack. So the whole frozen thing, I had no concept what that meant. So that I think you're right. Then they really knew what
They
that
knew
was.
exactly.
They were frozen and could not move.
Right, and not only are they frozen, you have to think about what's going on around them. There's that like force field of shit just going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
that's what it's. That's
because you feel like you're out of control now.
That's your brain.
Yeah,
that's you're frozen and your brain's going a million miles an hour. And when you see it coming, like me, it always. I mean, I've said it on here a million times. It always started in my gut. It always starts in my gut. And for the most part, because I've been going through it for so long, and I've been battling it and doing, therapy, whatever, you name it, trying to figure it out my whole life, I have the tools to where most of the time I can fight it off before it turns into a big deal.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, it just gets you. It just kind of lets you know that I'm not going anywhere. It's kind of like what alcoholics will say about alcoholism. Like, you're always in recovery. You're never cured of alcoholism. You're constantly in recovery, and that's what anxiety is like.
That's interesting. I gotta lower this mic. It's right in my face. Maybe not. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. I will say that I don't know. Maybe I was too deep into it. But there we go. Thank you. I got hung up on the characters, and then I put it together at the end. So envy came out the same time as anxiety.
Right.
But I never really saw envy like being envious a lot of the time. It was more like it like helped anxiety, or it was constantly pushing anxiety. And I couldn't ever figure out the envy character until at the end I was like, I think envy and jealousy feeds into your anxiety and makes your anxiety worse.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what that character's point was in that movie.
It creates, what envy does is create unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
So what envy does is it makes it so that you're measuring yourself against people that aren't measuring themselves against you.
Yep.
And that you're playing a game that nobody else is playing.
Yeah.
And so it causes anxiety because you're trying to measure up to somebody, and you can't, and you never will be able to. And it's a big motivator. And I think I feel like maybe kind of the overall point was how adolescence brings about all these negative emotions. You see all these emotions that came about when she hit puberty.
Yeah.
Were all negative.
Yep.
There wasn't a single positive emotion that came out of it. It was all embarrassment, envy. It's almost like, for a religious person, like the 7 deadly sins showed up.
Yeah.
Like you're a kid. When you're a kid, you can't sin yet.
Yeah.
You don't know better.
Right.
When puberty hits, all of a sudden you do. That's where the guilt comes in, and all those embarrassment. Like embarrassment to me is kind of almost guilt.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, or whatever. But I think what's really key to take away from it is how anxiety will take over. Anxiety will drive the ship if you let it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It'll control every part of your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think
and destroy relationships, just like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that the movie is basically trying to tell you not to let anxiety take over and to embrace the negative emotions, because joy can't exist without you have no
Right.
concept of joy without
Right.
anything negative.
Yeah.
It would just be the status quo.
Yeah.
I mean, and can joy be the status quo? I mean, I suppose you can seek it as the status quo, but it'll
Right.
never be. It can't.
It's funny because that leads into well, it doesn't lead into, but it relates to when I was at this conference last week. The keynote speaker was a gentleman named Alonzo. None of that for me. Just straight grinder, no peppers or anything for me. So
All peppers, just no onions.
okay. That's Tiny, by the way. He's getting our
Tiny
order.
coming and getting food
Tiny
for
getting
us.
our order. So we're all excited. We're getting some grinders and some cheese balls, I think. So can't wait to try all that. So but he said, which I don't know if it was more for, and I'm going to have him on Old Man Strength in a couple weeks. He agreed to come on in a couple weeks. I'm going to grill him about this. His name is Alonzo. He was the keynote speaker at this conference I was at.
Oh, okay.
But basically, what he said was, I have not had an argument in 15 years. If that's your version of how the story goes, okay, whatever. It's your perception. It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
You're
I'm
not
not going to
going to
argue
change
with you.
somebody's
Right.
perception.
I'm not going to argue with you. If that's the way you see it, then you're not wrong. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I found that kind of odd, because I think in general you're predisposed to your predisposition to argue your point or whatever else. So it was kind of the same thing with that movie yesterday, in that, like, joy, I think sometimes was so hard struck on, it's always got to be joy and I'm in charge, and
Exactly.
you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
you don't see that other person's perspective.
It's funny to sit here and talk about this movie like we're Siskel and Ebert.
Are you calling me the fat one? Am I the fat one?
I mean, we're both the dead
See a big
one.
fat big.
We'd both be the dead one.
That's
so.
true. That's true.
Oh
wait, is he a big fat person?
Wait. You agree with the fat person? So I did. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of struck me all of a sudden that we're two middle-aged men talking about this kids movie like it's this, Oscar nominated. It's probably gonna win Oscars.
It very well could.
I'm no
It
doubt.
very well could.
But like this, we're talking. It's a kids movie. It's supposed to be a kids movie, but we're like breaking this down in this crazy adult way.
It does such a great job, though, I think, of helping kids and adults too, to recognize those things.
It puts a face on it.
Yeah.
I like how it. Do you remember there was a show? It was a comedy called Herman's Head.
Yes. Yep.
And it was like all these characters are like in an attic, and that was his brain.
Yep.
And they all. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that show.
Yep.
In a way. And that's the brilliant. Like one of the moments I remember seeing that really struck. I took some notes. So I've seen this meme several times that I really liked. And it just says your anxiety's a lying hoe. And it's true. You talk about negative self-talk and how all these, your anxiety's lying to you. These things are lying to you. But if you remember when in the movie when anxiety first comes in, you think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Because it has a plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's got a whole plan.
Anxiety causes planning.
Yep.
That's what I wrote down.
Yep.
And it just goes to. It made me think about what I said a long time ago about expectations.
Yes.
Like.
Are the thief of dreams.
Yeah, it's the expectations are the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it really is. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't expect certain things from yourself.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you can't have goals and try to achieve goals. Like that's not what that means.
Right.
Like, to me, what that means is letting go of having to have control over the outcome of things.
Yeah. So right before we started tonight, you had called me, and I got here. I checked all of this equipment on Sunday night. Everything worked flawlessly. I get everything set up here. I get the laptop set up, so on. I plug everything in. I start getting a blue screen of death on my laptop. Instantly, and it's no joke. I start to feel like I'm short of breath.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And so then what do? I start to plan. I text my wife. Have you left yet? I called Caitlin. Have you left yet? I start to plan, and now, what if and I was 3 steps down. Okay, well, if this hasn't happened and she doesn't get here, I'll use my phone, but then this won't work, and then I can't use this.
Yeah.
And then it's that whole, it's going and going and going and going and going. And I mean, Teddy's really important to me. My friendship with Teddy is really important. I didn't want to disappoint him tonight. I wanted this to go really small. I wanted it to go flawless, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, now I'm worrying that I'm going to disappoint Teddy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm going to disappoint him. This isn't going to work right, and so on. Now I'm worried about my friends and how my friends are going to react.
And Teddy, I'm sure, would have lost all kinds of sleep if we didn't do this tonight.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure.
I'm sure
Teddy would have just been beside
But it was
himself.
my expectations of me going, this is important. I want to make sure I do a good job. I purchased this equipment. Now it's not working right. All that other stuff. So it's kind of that same little mini episode that I had right before this. And I even recognized it as it was happening. I'm like, I'm getting anxious here. I need, and it was, I can't tell you how many times I refresh my phone and say, okay, Caitlin's 15 minutes away. She's 10 minutes away.
Well, it's kind of that overwhelming feeling because of the pressure of getting things started on time and everything working.
Right.
You get a little overwhelmed, but if you think about it, you were focusing on solutions. You weren't planning. Planning's what you do ahead.
Yeah.
You were trying to find solutions in a moment.
Right.
So I wouldn't call that the same
I see what you're
thing.
saying. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think what it does, what anxiety does when it makes you plan is it makes you look at a future that you can't predict. It makes you try to have a fail safe for this unpredictable thing.
Right.
It makes you a control freak.
Okay.
Things like that. And if things don't go according to plan, then you panic.
Right.
And you throw a fit.
Yep.
Or something like that. Whereas, you got those overwhelming feelings, but in this sense, it was almost positive because you had to have a solution.
Yep.
So, but I mean, how else are you going to get a solution if you don't think about it? I mean, you can't just.
Yeah.
Were you going to throw your hands up and give up? I mean, you could have.
I could have. Yeah.
And luckily, this isn't our job or anything, but
We got some comments here. Wow, got a really good one here. Way off topic. Just wanted to say thank you for the podcast. It's been a tough year. I look forward to this podcast every other week. And thanks, Chris, for your nice words over your years about my brother. Wow, that's really nice. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate that.
Thanks for reaching out, man.
And Teddy responded, I knew this movie would get you, and yes, I would have lost a lot of sleep. And my sister's all about I should get Stacy a bidet. So we're caught up on these. I want to go back to Ross. So Ross, this is why we do this podcast.
100%
is 100% to give people an outlet and things like that. Really, really appreciate you chiming in. So thank you for listening.
A few things. I liked the Rumor Mill and Imagination Land.
Yeah.
I thought that, I thought that was clever. Those were fun little.
I dozed off a tiny bit in the middle of the movie, and that might have been when I I was catching up on a lot of sleep. It was maybe 5 minutes, but I think that when they were in Imagination Land was
And I'm the one that
right after they like broke the pillow place or something. That's when I was.
And I'm the one that went stoned, and you're the one that fell asleep. Like, I was a little concerned. So here I go in. I went by myself, right?
Yeah.
So I go to Flicks, and I'm already thinking I'm self-conscious about going to this kids movie by myself.
Yeah.
I went to the I went at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
On Saturday. I spent $10. So like,
there you go. So you didn't buy popcorn or anything else, because that's where it gets. Yeah. That's where they get you. I like. Side note: we left, and Caitlin threw her popcorn box away, and I was like,
and you threw a fucking fit.
What the fuck are you doing? You can get free refills on that.
That's liquid gold.
That's free refills. What are you doing?
So you can pick. I bought my ticket in the parking lot on my phone.
Yeah.
And I picked. There were only about 8 seats reserved. Not even 8, maybe 6.
Yeah.
Right. So I picked the seat way up in the top corner.
Okay.
Like way up there. Which it's not that big, but way up in the top corner. And there was like top row had a few seats. Then like down below a little bit had a few different.
Here we go.
Oh, it comes the cheese
balls. And this place is packed in here.
It is.
Tiny brings them in.
It's all because of Tiny. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind.
That's right.
Nobody has more of a winning personality than my boy Tiny. Everybody loves him. If you've met Tiny, you love Tiny. There's no doubt. But anyway, here, you can get these closer to you.
Right. Yeah.
Put them over there.
I got some.
I'm the one with the beatus. I can't be eating all this shit.
No, I'm on.
I had the cheese. Oh. Now I got distracted. What were we? Sorry.
Imagination Land. That's all right. That's the whole point.
So, yes, Imagination. And I also liked. It does such a great job of putting a character to things to help explain things to kids. And like, I think it's probably a good tool for parents.
Yeah.
To have these conversations afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
But I agree though that I'm 45 years old and I don't know what to do with some of these emotions sometimes. I remember when I was going through my divorce, my therapist told me at one point, like, your emotions are way out, just all over the place, and you are doing nothing to control them.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard anyone say that to me before outside of like my parents or something.
Right.
And I thought it was wrong. I was like, well, I'm not supposed, why would I? I'm supposed to embrace them.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing myself any favors right now.
I also, one of the parts that I thought was Joy taking all the memories she didn't want and putting them in the back of your mind. Right. And to me, that is something I do a lot of, in that if it's a bad thought or it's something that I don't want to think about it. I want to avoid
pain.
I'm going to avoid the pain.
Avoid adversity, avoid pain. And you know what that also does is it, if you were to apply that to kind of adult life or whatever, that takes away your ability to assess risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you eliminate every one of those memories. Now you have no concept of risk reward.
Right.
And you can get yourself in a lot of trouble, or you can get lucky, take a huge risk and win, but all in all, you will have that childlike thing where you just don't even think about consequences ever, and that's not good either.
Yeah, I remember reading a book, and it was a designed for kids or whatever, and but the concept was like unintended. I don't want to say wishes, but consequences of. And one of the books was centered around how this kid didn't want anybody to feel any pain. You know what I mean? Which, if you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I don't want anybody to feel any kind of pain or whatever else. But pain is necessary. Pain's there for a reason, to warn you about things, to give you an indication that something's not right. Things like that.
And that's where where anxiety is a positive.
Yep.
It tells you you're not prepared for something sometimes.
Yeah.
But
and
then
sadness
sometimes
too.
it lies to you and tells you that that you're not prepared when you are.
Yep.
But that's also where fear, and that was one of my favorite moments when anxiety showed up, when fear was like, "We're gonna be best friends." Like that was 100% right on, because anxiety and fear go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, anxiety is just fear times a million.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't see much of a difference other than, fear being a little more healthy than anxiety. Maybe I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, I've always said that all of these things can be tools. I mean, when you package these things correctly, like I've said before, anxiety has brought a lot of positive results in my life, and that's why the movie kind of hits home for me, because you can see where anxiety is supposed to be what keeps you from walking down that dark alley.
Right.
It's not supposed to be what keeps you from getting the dishes done.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yep.
So you need it.
Is that more? Is that? Maybe there's a difference. Maybe it's fear that keeps you from walking down that dark alley, but anxiety is the one that keeps you from doing the dishes. Right? Like, I don't know that anxiety keeps you from sensing danger.
Well,
you know what I mean? Anxiety is like it's an out of control fear.
No, to me, anxiety is more about the invisible.
Yeah.
Fear is about what's visible, and anxiety is what's not.
Yeah.
Anxiety is what happens when fear overtakes your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that fight or flight thing comes in. Because when you're so afraid that anxiety has now taken over, you're either gonna punch somebody or you're gonna run away.
Yep.
So and that's metaphorical in a lot of ways, but
let's take a break, and then when we come back, let's look at.
When we come back, we'll finish chewing.
That's right. We'll finish chewing. Sorry, everybody, but the food's so good here. I'm just gonna eat, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. But I'd like to talk about some of the decisions that Riley made as a result of anxiety taking control.
Right.
All right. So let's get a word from Revelton. I've got a brand new ad about their bourbon and stuff coming out here next week. But they've got all kinds of great things down at Revelton Distilling Company, our primary sponsor. And of course, we're broadcasting live from the AKC Andrew Downs Marketing Studio. Talked to Andrew today. He's on the mend. He's back to working from home right now. So it's good to hear that Andrew's back up and running real well. So, all right, we'll be right back.
Why take the best corn in the world and make it into fuel when you could make it into whiskey? That's the question that launched Revelton, Iowa's most visible and fastest growing distillery. Owners Rob and Christy Taylor embrace the grain-to-glass philosophy, sourcing ingredients locally and overseeing on-premises production and bottling at their facility in Osceola. One sip, and you'll agree that Revelton's handcrafted whiskeys, gins, and vodkas are the best you've ever tasted. And with the launch of their rye whiskey, made with 100% Iowa-grown rye and corn, and their new bourbon coming soon, there's more Revelton to love than ever. Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
All right, and we're back again live from the AKC Marketing Andrew Down Studios at Polk City Pub in Polk City. It's 7:40. This place is still kind of packed in here. Like they can fit quite a bit of people in here. They got TVs all over. They've got. I'm gonna get an old fashioned here in a little bit, so I'm super excited to
Yeah,
get.
the bartender hates you, by the way. Just so you know.
I just made it easy.
That fucking guy. There's bartenders all over the country when Mad Men came out, like just rolling their eyes every week. Like when they come out on Thursdays or something, every Thursday they're just like, oh fuck, here we go. I gotta fucking
Make an old fashioned.
what do you call it? That you gotta
Manhattan.
You gotta fucking.
Oh yeah, you got to crush the bitters.
Yeah, what do you call it? There's a word for it. I can't all of a sudden.
I don't know.
Muddle. You got to muddle stuff.
Yeah.
Bartenders don't like to muddle, Chris.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. I'm telling you, if there's any bartenders listening right now, explain to Chris that you don't like to muddle.
My sister was a bartender.
Teddy should be able to tell you. He's hired a lot of bartenders. I bet he
expects him to muddle.
Of course he expects him to, because he's fucking owning the place. But I guarantee his bartenders bitch about it all the time.
Thank you
All
very
the time.
much. Appreciate it.
Tell him thanks for making me muddle. See, she's laughed. See, she knew exactly what I was talking about. She turned around and laughed. As soon as I said the word muddle, she started laughing. Because she knows you're a dick. Huge dick.
I might be. Oh my gosh.
You might as well have just called her Flo. You might as well just hey Flo, can I get an old fashioned? Can you muddle up some cherries for me, Flo?
Oh god. I'm gonna choke to death. Oh, thank you. There you go. So, okay. To me, the biggest decision in the movie that she made as a result of anxiety is going in and looking at the coach's notebook.
Yeah, probably. That was probably
because it was completely against her character.
Yes. And she was slowly losing her stuff. And that, that goes into something I had written down was how do we keep bad memories from forming bad beliefs?
Yeah.
Right? They did that thing, like it was like the difference between a belief, and that's why it goes back to your anxiety lies to you.
Mm-hmm.
Your anxiety makes this a belief when it shouldn't be.
Yep.
And that's what you're trying to avoid. But yeah, I mean, you had like a further point to that, I think.
No, I just think that to me that was the biggest. That was the biggest indicator that it had taken over. Basically. Yeah, because then when she saw the results, she went into even further panic.
Right.
And then she made another bad decision, and then she decided she was going to overtake the game. Then she started alienating her friends, and it just was a spiral.
And a
spiral of it. Yep.
And she hurts one of her friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love that. If I were to have anything negative to say about the movie, I kind of wish it didn't involve sports. I kind of wish hockey wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
I think the same thing could have been accomplished with just popularity, changing school, all that kind of stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
But in a way, I feel like it kind of sheds a negative light a little bit on sports.
Yeah.
And instead of
so
like, for example, like it's basically saying like it's okay like, okay, remember that commercial where it was like a character counts commercial or something where the ball goes out of bounds and the ref makes the wrong call and calls it out on the other team. And they get in the huddle and the kid goes, "Coach, it was out on me, coach." and then goes and tells the ref
Yeah.
to reverse
Yep.
the call.
Yep.
I would kick the shit out of that kid if he was on my team. We would go in the locker room after the game, and we would beat his ass. We would have
Thank you very
pounded
much,
that guy.
Tiny.
Thank you, Tiny.
Grinder sandwich.
And our coach would have loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
We're good. Thank you. Yep.
brother.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks,
brother.
Tiny.
So it's just like, and to me, I felt like there was a little bit of that happening in the movie where, you know, it's your friends and
Yeah.
Well, but this is a competitive environment, and we're not on the same team. You
So,
know what I mean?
right.
Like,
So in an early draft of the script,
man, you got a bunch of reverb all of a sudden. I think the
you
chord
know what?
hits
Yeah,
something.
there we go. How's that?
Yeah, it's better.
The script was to be about Riley being in a high school talent show, but it was changed later to Riley going to hockey camp since she played the game quite often in the first film.
Gotcha.
So maybe they were, you know, kind of on the same page. I don't know. I think I liked it a little bit because I think sports is the one place that still has a huge, I'm going to use the word stigma, even though Travis Justice told us not to use it.
I never heard that.
Yeah. He was like, I hate using the word stigma.
That's funny.
He might have said it on the morning rush one morning. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I just remember thinking, God,
I don't
I use
remember.
that term all the time
That's
on
funny.
false
Yeah.
starts. But I think sports is one of the last bastions of place where you're not allowed to have mental health
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things like, you know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
So by them keeping that in there, I think was really good.
That's a really,
You know
that
what I
is
mean?
a really good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, I guess. Yeah, that's a great point, actually. I guess that for me, it takes me back to how bent out of shape I get,
Yeah.
like about sports, about my team, you know, or whatever. I mean, Iowa's really the only team I get that way about. My other teams, I don't. I'm not that emotionally attached to my other favorite teams for some reason. But when it comes to the Iowa Hawkeyes, I lose my mind, and I act. Sometimes I hate to say that I act out of character because I feel like I'm not necessarily off brand. Like, but sometimes I lose my self-awareness, I guess is a good way to put it.
I think you're pretty, I mean, I think,
I'm saying
You
in the
lean-
moment.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. At
And
the
then I
game when
regret
you're,
the shit out of it.
yeah, at the game, you'll,
Yeah.
no, I'm with you.
Like,
Yeah.
or, you know, I might, like, I mean, I've told the stories on here a couple times about
Yeah.
me cussing out the cops last year
Yep.
and shit like that. I'm not proud of that.
No.
Like, they're kind of funny to talk about or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again.
Right.
Like, I want to be that guy. Now that's who I am to those guys forever. Like,
Yeah. They're looking for you.
I'm this fucking prick, but,
Yeah.
you know, I want to be that guy to people.
That makes sense.
You know, there's that party that, you know, you're not supposed to care what people think, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, in that situation, I was an asshole.
Right.
Like, nothing about any of that. It's the guy would have never came and talked to me if I wasn't acting like an idiot.
Right. Right.
Now, who gets to define what acting like an idiot is, I guess. That's another question. But
Yeah. Because I don't think you were, I mean, I don't think you were out of line.
no,
You know,
not,
you were,
not 100%. Not 100%.
but once there was a conversation,
yeah.
the doubling down, maybe not so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, exactly.
Was
the
needed.
doubling down is
Right.
exactly.
Oh, well,
yeah.
you're not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah,
you
now
know,
it's like,
right.
okay, well,
Yeah.
fuck you. Yeah.
Well, Ross chimes in and says we don't like to make old fashions or Bloody Marys after 10 a.m. Okay, well,
Thank you. But here's the thing, Rob. Bloody Marys are fine if the mix is already pre-made. Because then all you're doing is pouring vodka in there. And, you know, if throwing a beef stick in there and a stick of celery is too much, I mean, at least you don't got to muddle anything. fucking muddler.
It's good stuff, man.
I'm trying to think of what else. How's the grinder? I haven't taken a bite of the grinder yet.
Dude, it's so good. I put a tweet out today with the menu, and like 3 or 4 people did come back and say, definitely get the grinder. So it's
all right. I'm taking a bite. You're gonna have to.
It's really good. Okay. So one of the funny parts of the movie, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's a good grinder.
Yeah, it's so good. I am a huge fan of the anger character in the movie.
Well, especially when it's Lewis Black.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not like Lewis Black? You know, my favorite part was when he was like, "Look at all these curse words on the board."
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I might have missed that actually when the new emotions came, when the new board came.
Yeah, because they had gotten to be puberty and
yeah. You know, I wonder if they'll keep making these. I think it would be great if they just followed Riley all the way to the end. Just keep
absolutely. So did you?
I think like the nostalgia character, maybe that's setting something else up, maybe.
Yep.
I think that would be brilliant because, I mean, I don't know, just what a great. I mean, when it comes to mental health, I can't think of a better movie.
No, it explains it
Especially
so well.
I think the second one's better than the first.
And I do too. And how they incorporated other people and then their inside outs, whatever, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, the mom.
Like the mom and the dad.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the dad, when he's like not paying attention and he's remembering the sports or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's me. I've done that before.
Yeah. And some of that, I mean, you know, some of that stuff annoys me. That cliche, dad's a dumbass shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's harmless, I guess, in that situation. Because I'm always
I don't know, it's pretty.
I can't stand that, like, sitcom thing where.
Yeah, we've had to.
Yeah, where it's all about dad's an idiot.
Yeah,
like,
dad can't function. And
yeah, he's just this emotionally dumb. I can't stand that shit.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The last TV dad that had his shit together was Bill Cosby, so I don't know what that tells you.
Yeah, the most wholesome one ended up being Al Bundy.
Right.
Yeah, it was. God, it was so interesting because I go and I watch that movie, and then a few hours later, Trump gets shot at.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, what are we going to do with this? And
right, yeah.
It was great to watch. I did one of those things where I decided to just put some posts up and watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Because
I saw.
Yeah. Well, I love to do these little probes into human behavior. You know? I like to prove to them that they're no different than the other.
Yeah.
Because everybody's full of shit, if you ask me. I think top to bottom.
Yeah.
I think the way people make excuses, the way things are okay and then not okay, as long as
their side,
as long as it's your party.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the amount of liberals that I knew that I was seeing on Facebook and stuff talking about how it was staged and like conspiracy, and I'm like, oh my God. Now you sound just like the January 6th idiots. You guys aren't, as long as it's the other team.
Yes. Right.
It drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. And so I'm pointing this out. And then my favorite thing, though, is to watch how emotion gets in the way of reading comprehension. Because the one post that I put up that got the most traction, comments, whatever, is I said, way to make a hero out of that fucking idiot, you fucking idiot. Like, how is that not condoning the shooter?
Yeah.
People are reading that because I call Trump an idiot as I wish he would have gotten killed.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe part of me does. I don't know, maybe. And, someone tells me what a piece of shit I am for even thinking that. Well, it's like, I don't know. Did I just dehumanize him like he seems to do all the time to other people? Like,
Right.
I'm just saying, like, you guys, just these two different ends. Like, you mean to tell me that you guys don't talk a bunch of shit about how you wish this guy would? How many times did you hang an Obama thing off of a balcony and think it was funny and shit like that? Don't act like.
Yeah, it's the full extremes. I had kind of a conversation with, that was one of the. I'm pretty deep into historical things and politics. I put a tweet out today that said, I am so. I one of the things that I loved the most was watching conventions and watching speeches and watching the political process and the debates and whatever. And I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't even want to watch it. And it's taken the joy away from me. And I know that sounds weird, but the actual physical process of that is enjoyable to me. Like, I grew up with my dad. We would watch presidential elections together.
Well, a guy made a great point. Buddy of mine who's a big conservative, and he said, because I put in there, I said at one point, I was like, what? Explain to me how I'm not condoning the shooter by saying this. Saying he's an idiot. And I'm like, he would have been an idiot if he killed him, or if he did, either by even shooting at him, he's martyring him.
Right.
Like, he's accomplishing the exact opposite. Yes, great, fantastic,
awesome.
All right, brother.
Tiny, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. It's been great.
Us, bro.
Yep.
And so, and I go, you guys are losing your minds over someone you'll never meet.
Yes.
That doesn't give two shits about you. Like, it's just bizarre to me.
Yeah.
And this guy goes, you have sports, some people have politics. And then he quoted me underneath that. It's bizarre to just care about these people and blah, blah, blah. And I had to tell him that's a great point.
Yeah.
That is a great comparison.
Yeah.
I would say the only difference is what I'm talking about is harmless. As far as,
and I don't think friendships and families are breaking up over sports.
Exactly what I said. I go, I am not going to insult you as a human being, question your character, call you a bunch of names because you like Iowa State.
I sent Saturday night.
The stakes aren't that high.
No.
That's the thing with politics.
Right, yes.
That's why I get annoyed.
Yeah.
Some of us have politics. So what you're essentially what you're saying is that's your Fox NFL Sunday.
Right.
Well, it's not supposed to be Fox NFL Sunday. This is life.
Yeah.
This isn't a game.
Right.
You guys treat it like it's a game. That's my
And
problem.
the difference is after they're done, they go over and shake each other's hands and move on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that anymore.
Right.
They don't do that anymore. And after Saturday night, I made a conscious decision. I was not going to react to anything online.
Yeah.
I genuinely was upset that somebody took a shot at him.
Yeah.
Because that's not who we should. That's not who we are. And
Also,
I did not. And I also didn't want to
martyred him.
Yeah, I didn't want to put a tweet out. I didn't want to put a statement out. I didn't want to do anything out and it come off as misconstrued. And I texted 3 or 4 friends of mine that are on the opposite side and said, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to take a chance of ruining a friendship over whatever. Have I seen things like, the rhetoric is so that he was attacked because of this rhetoric or whatever?
Yeah.
Probably, yes. Did he at one point say that journalists were the enemy of the state? I mean, and I remember when he was president, and I'm defending him in this point, everybody said, well, when you're a president, your word carries a lot more weight. Okay, well, then that applies to Biden as well.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
So if he's saying that, we need to put a bullseye on him or whatever, you're the president.
Yeah.
Those words should not come out of your mouth.
Right.
And it's the same thing. We forget that when it's our side. Vaccine is a perfect example. Well, I can remember at the very early when Trump was pushing for the vaccine and was working on the vaccine, I remember prominent Democrats going, I'm not taking it.
Right.
I'm not going to take it because
it was his idea.
It was his idea, and who's
Yeah.
to say it's not being pushed through? And then
Yeah.
the minute that it flipped a switch, they were going to take it.
Yeah.
Me, I was taking it either way because I wanted to be in Jack Trice in the fall, and I didn't give a flying fuck.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
You mean I can take a vaccine and not get as sick, and I'm getting out of here? I don't give a shit who creates it. And
Yeah,
that's not an indictment on anybody that didn't take it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Well, it turns
I didn't
out,
have, as
Yeah.
Ross Peterson likes to say, I didn't care whose color jersey was on. It didn't
Uh-huh.
make fucking difference to me.
and now you got people fighting with people they love.
Yeah.
Over these people. And that's what I said. Everybody's full of shit.
Yep.
Biden's full of shit. Trump's full of shit. CNN's full of shit. Fox is full of shit. There's two things that should never, ever, 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 ever have party affiliation. Ever. The media
Yep.
and judges.
Yes.
Those 2
100%.
things should never, ever be affiliated with any side
Yes.
of anything.
Yep.
And a lot of what people will say, and it's true. Vote policy over person.
Yep.
I've heard Killer Mike say that. I've heard, that's one of the things, like, who should you vote for? And he goes, vote policy over person. Just educate yourself.
Yeah.
I agree to that to a certain extent, but then why are we putting the person up?
Right.
Why don't we just vote between parties?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who it is.
Right. Yep.
You just have blue and red. Everybody votes blue or red, then they get to decide who they put up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you can't do that. You can't just vote policy.
Nope. Nope. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I want to personally thank Teddy for inviting us out to Polk City Pub. I encourage everybody that's listening to this. It was like a 25-minute drive from work downtown. Like, it was super easy to get here. The neighborhood is really cool. It's nice and chill. If you're out at the Sailorville and you're boating or you're at the beach or whatever, you're looking for dinner, come out to Polk City Pub. Hit these guys up. Tiny was awesome. The food was great. The old fashioned was good, muddled perfectly. Thank you very much.
Did they do a good job?
They
of
did.
muddling?
They muddled it perfectly.
Son of a
Okay. The rest of our podcast, I know Hawk's Eye View is starting next month. Iowa State, the side of the storm. They've got Brent Bloom coming on. Old Man Strength just had an episode. The climbing Mount Rushmore with me and Teddy is hopping on. So we're getting ready for another season to start up, gearing up in August. I know I'm forgetting something. Check out. Also, I want to give a shout out to your
Mo
Bloody
Rub,
Mary.
yeah.
To Mo.
It's gonna be Mo Goodness soon.
Mo Goodness.
Right now, we're still just Mo Rub, but we've got all our products, and just don't forget about the Bloody Mary mix. I got the pretzels. I can't reach them right now, but I was. Oh yeah,
look at
there
that.
we
Caitlin's
go.
right
Look at-
here.
Yes, lovely. Get
Look
my
at her.
little pack out. See, this is the rub right here. This is what Mo Rub looks like in the package. 9 spice blend. You rub it. One of the best things to do, honestly, is just mix it with sour cream.
Yeah.
Really good dip. Then we got the Mo cracked pretzels. It's one of my favorite things to hand samples out of, because I tell everybody that first hit's free, and that's how you get hooked. And then we got Mo nuts, because everybody wants Mo nuts. But definitely keep this in mind. We're gonna get some graphics. We're gonna
We're gonna get it hooked
start
up
doing
and
all that stuff. And be looking for me in a bar and restaurant near you, because I'm gonna get these snacks out there. I'm gonna get the Bloody Mary mix out there. Start looking in the grocery stores. We're gonna work with that too.
Caitlin's all about Bloody Marys.
Yeah. So I'm getting ready to make a big push here, and we're actually probably at some point, I think, we're gonna do like a full on like Mo Rub comedy tour.
Sweet.
So that we can get to the smaller town bars around and get our products in there.
Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Also do a show at the same time. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah, should be a good time. But love everybody. Thank you for listening, watching. Make sure you go see Inside Out too if you haven't.
That's right.
Honestly, it's just amazing. It's brilliant. It's heavy. It's emotional. Pretty sure I made the lady next to me cry in the theater. Like I said, I was up in that corner. This lady's like 4 seats over with like her daughter or something. And during that moment, I'm starting to get really emotional. Like, and I was barely, just
yeah.
And then it graduated to the point where you have to sniffle.
Yep.
Because like all you got to I didn't bring Kleenex with me. I wasn't prepared. So like you got the little napkin sitting there, and that's toast like within 2 seconds. So like I start sniffling, and then like there was a pause in my sniffling, and then all of a sudden I hear her like, I'm like, all right, like I got her.
I can go now.
Yeah. Go. She was like, oh, this poor man. She was probably thinking there's something wrong with me.
Awesome.
I'm figuring that out, by the way. Hold on, I'm sorry, we gotta go.
That's right.
But something is wrong with me. I'm getting really emotional. I used to never get emotional during movies and stuff. I mean, like somewhat, like Rudy. Like when I saw Rudy, that was like, yeah.
I cried a little bit at Rudy.
Just a little, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it's happening. Just fucking could be seen too. Like nothing. Like so, I watched this movie called Long Shot or The Long Shot or something. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's about this golf team, a high school golf team, in Texas in like the 50s or 60s, right? And it's these poor Mexican kids. They caddy at the country club, right? But they obviously can't play there.
Right.
Well, then this superintendent comes and takes over their school district, and he's trying to be a member at this club, and they won't let him in because he's Mexican, right?
Yep.
Well, he's driving on one day, and somebody hits a golf ball through his window, looks up, it's these Mexican kids up on the hill hitting golf balls.
Yep.
And so he ends up, Dennis Quaid is going to help him coach him. Like, he's bringing Dennis Quaid up there, and he's, I don't know, that whole thing. White guy just after World War II or Vietnam or I don't know what war. Anyway, he's, they better respect the game, all that shit. So he goes walking up to the top of the hill to meet them, and he's not on board to coach yet. He was just convinced him to come talk to him for a minute. Goes up the hill, and then the music starts. He gets to the top of the hill, and he looks down, and these kids are hand making. Like, so after the window broke and he went and chased him down, he noticed a stick with a rag on it.
Yeah.
And he saw the golf club, so he saw what they were doing. So this time, Dennis Quaid goes up, and they're all down there by hand, digging a sand trap and like stomping the grass down on the green. They're inventing a hole because they're too poor.
Yeah.
And I just like the moment where Dennis Quaid saw them digging a hole. It's like 15 minutes in. Like no one's accomplished anything yet. It's like I'm already crying because they're gonna win state. They're gonna, of course, now. It was crazy. And I was just like, I almost slapped the shit out of my.
What did your kids say the other day when you had that photo? You're like, when did you become a basic white bitch?
When did you become a basic white bitch? Yeah, that's my kid. Chip off the old block there.
Speaking of which, we're gonna sponsor.
We do have the wrestling coming up.
We got the wrestling meet coming. The wrestling match.
Meet, yeah.
Sorry, we're sponsoring a live wrestling match, pro wrestling,
September 14th
at the Recplex, September 14th. So we're gonna start making some graphics and some advertising for that.
Anybody that we've got some tickets. So like,
yes.
Anybody
we have like
that
25
wants to
tickets.
go, we've got some. I mean, obviously a lot are spoken for, but we do have some. If any listeners, fans, whatever.
Can I hit you with a chair? Well, is that allowed?
You can hit my son with one.
Oh fuck probably. Yeah! I'll hit Jackson with a chair. I don't give a shit.
But anyway, yeah.
Little wuss.
Message
Jackson's
us
ass.
if you're interested. I would love to get some more people out there. And
absolutely.
Hopefully he's not.
So look out for that. And man, we got all kinds of stuff. We got some T-shirts that are teasing, and
nice.
We got a little bit of an alcoholic beverage that might be launching.
Oh, I
next
feel
month,
like
so-
we should, like, I don't know, maybe team up with Revelton Vodka,
Yeah, we could do that.
some Bloody
we could-
Marys. I mean, they're
we could-
probably just using fucking Zing Zang. They're,
I'm sure
they're a
are.
local company.
They are.
They'd probably like to use
They're
another.
all
local
about
company.
local. They're all
Yeah.
about local.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Everybody have a great night, and
Love.
we are out of here.